A new study suggests there'll be a remarkable rise in the number of African consumers within 5 years. Gabon sets its sights on becoming Africa's top palm oil producer. And Comoros looks to geothermal energy to provide reliable electricity. Hello and welcome to Business Africa. I'm Takunbo Salako. Whether it's buying stuff on the road or getting good deals in superstores, Africans love to shop. A new study suggests that with incomes rising, Africa will have more than 1.1 billion consumers within 5 years. That's more than the combined populations of Europe and the United States. Now, certain products like mobile phones are a bigger priority than food in some regions, with daily internet access for all kinds of services increasingly gaining importance. But the projection is not only based on Africa's diverse middle classes having more in their pockets, rural communities too will have a big say on the changes. Jean-David Mihamle and Kenneth Karuri have this report.
Africa's consumer market is promising and has an economic asset that so-called mature economies no longer have. Optimistic consumers want to spend. That's according to a new report released this week by Boston Consulting Group, which shows that the number of African consumers is expected to reach 1.1 billion within 5 years, more than Europe and North America combined. BCG conducted a survey of 11,000 consumers in 11 African countries, particularly in countries the most promising short and medium terms, such as Nigeria, Ivory Coast, Egypt or Ethiopia, which has experienced a record growth rate of 10.5% in 2015. According to BCG, distribution networks of goods and services was improving through the development of modern stores and access to telecommunications and the internet. The online business also emerged in recent years, and although it is still low, it offers many business opportunities according to the study, which was titled African Consumer Sentiment 2016. Taking the example of the Nigerian Jumia platform, which offers a huge range of home deliverables and became the first shopping website online in 5 African countries, BCG demonstrates that innovations provide access to these new markets, bypassing the chronic problems of distribution on the continent. The study estimates that by 2019, some 250 million Africans who are not integrated into the banking system will possess a mobile phone and an income of at least $500 per month. This will create even more economic potential.
Now, we've spoken a lot on this program about how the global slump in oil prices has affected African economies and their need to diversify into other areas. Gabon is pinning its hopes on a different but widely used oil, palm oil. By modernizing and expanding the industry, the country hopes to significantly boost its agricultural sector by 2020. Serge Manko Nkombo and Selina Otobong have more.
Plantations of palm oil in Gabon spread over 30,000 hectares of land in Mbuku in the south of the country. A company from Singapore, Olam, has signed an agreement with the Gabonese government to develop 50,000 hectares with a possible expansion of even 100,000 hectares. By 2025, Gabon aims to produce and export 250 tons of palm oil. The aim of the project is to create job opportunities in a country where employment is already scarce. The initiative is part of the diversification plan of Gabon's economy, and this will be done with about 5 million hectares of land available for intensive agriculture.
This site is extraordinary. For this project and the industry of Gabon, it shows that Gabon is diversifying.
Gabon aims that the agricultural sector contributes 15% of its GDP in 2020 against the current 1%. A palm nut processing plant is already in operation. 2 others are also being built at a cost of $788 million.
Our final story this week takes us to Comoros, a tiny union of picturesque but poverty-ridden islands which have struggled with power in more ways than one. Providing reliable electricity has proved to be a tough task as the grid goes offline daily, but new investment in a geothermal plant could soon make power cuts a thing of the past. Stefan Cugne and Elaine Wangalwa compiled this report.
In the Indian Ocean archipelago of Comoros, researchers are exploring geothermal energy for power generation. This will aid the island nation to be less dependent on fossil fuel for power generation and improve the country's overall electricity output.
We plan to install a plant with an initial capacity of 10 megawatts and then increase it to 20 megawatts and follow that progressively till we meet the energy demand in the country.
Home to about 700,000 people, reports indicate that only 50% of the population has access to electricity, and in the capital Moroni, people only have about 5 hours of electricity per day. Comoros is facing an energy crisis. This has held back the progress of the economy towards greater diversification. From hour-long blackouts that affect hospitals to small businesses, the archipelago island's energy is in dire condition. One such business hampered by the energy crisis is a bakery that is struggling to keep afloat.
It is impossible to go a day without losing bread because of the power cuts. In the time you go and start the generator, the bread can be ruined. We're asking the electricity company to do everything it can to guarantee our supply because small businesses like us are losing out.
As researchers look at the potential of geothermal energy, a power plant could be operational in the next 6 years. The study has been funded by several bodies, including the African Union, New Zealand, and the United Nations Development Programme.
That's all we have time for this week. We hope you've enjoyed watching. You can share your ideas on our social website. And don't forget, of course, there's always more business on Africanews.com. See you next week.